Today we're going to talk about the coordinate plane. Now, there's many names for the coordinate plane. Most often it is called the XY plane, or sometimes it's called the Cartesian coordinate plane. In geometry, a coordinate system is a system in which uses coordinates to uniquely identify a position of a point. The coordinate plane is a two-dimensional surface that is separated into four quadrants by the intersection of a horizontal axis, the x-axis, and a vertical axis. The horizontal axis, which is highlighted in orange, is called the x-axis. The vertical axis, which is highlighted in green, is called the y-axis. The intersection of the x and y axis, the center, is called the origin. Now, the origin has coordinates 0, 0. The points on a coordinate plane are always identified x, y. We say the x coordinate first, then the y. So here, four quadrant ordered pairs. We haven't mentioned which quadrants are which yet. We start off where x is positive and y is positive, and we call this quadrant 1, often abbreviated as Q1. And then we move in a counterclockwise direction, and this is known as quadrant 2. Quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. So these are the quadrants. So when we're to identify a point, so I'm just going to take my blue pen here I'm going to figure out number 1. Tell what point is located at each coordinate pair. So 8, -4. To get to 8, -4, I start off at the origin. Since the x coordinate is positive, I move in the positive direction. So I count 8 spaces in the x direction, -4 in the y. So what we're able to see is point 8, -4 corresponds to the letter F. Next, 6, -2. Well, 6, -2, I can move, the x is 6, the y goes down by 2 since it's negative, and this corresponds to E, the letter E. Now, just if this is your first time looking at a coordinate system in a long time, the x's are positive as they move right, exactly like on a number line. They are negative as you move left. And in the y direction, as you move up, they're going to be positive. And as you move down, they will be negative. So if I move on, now I'm going to do, I just realized I'm doing things out of order. So I'm going to do 5, -9. What that means is x is 5, so you can count in the positive direction 5, 9, and this ends up being Q. Another way of looking at it is if you take a look where 5 is, take a look where 9 is, where 5 or x is 5. Pardon me, I messed that up, didn't I? All right, we're going to take a look where 5, negative 9 is. So I take a look where x is 5, where y is negative 9. What we see is this intersects at the letter G. All right, so I don't have to count. I can just look at the intersection or the grid. Now, if I move on to number 4, I'm going to look where x is negative 8, y is 6. So x is negative 8. So x is a negative 8 all along this line. Y is 6 along this line. So that uniquely identifies u. Now notice those two lines intersect exactly at one point. All right. I believe I've done enough examples here. I'm going to go on to number 9 now. I need to find the ordered pair for O. Now remember, for ordered pair, it's x, y. So where is O? And indeed, I think I find O right there. So I take a look at the x-coordinate. The x-coordinate for O is 7. Y-coordinate is 7. So O has coordinates 7, 7. Now notice how 7, 7 are in brackets. Really important that you put it in brackets because that's the mathematical notation that we use to signify that this is a point. B. The point B. Well, here's B. So I'm going to draw a line straight up to the x-coordinate or the x-plane. Draw one to the y-axis. And what I see here is point B. The x is negative 8. The y is negative 9. So my point is negative 8, negative 9. Next, y. So I have to find where y is. Oh, here's y. So y, I look up and compare it to the x and y axis. So y will have coordinates 2, negative 9. Last but not least, I think 4 examples for this is plenty. So I need to go out and find where I is. If I take a look where I is, there it is, there's I. I had a hard time seeing it. So I'm going to draw a line straight up, straight across, and I see the x-coordinate for I is negative 1. The y-coordinate is going to be negative 4. All right. I presume the last exercise here, or the last few examples that I'm going to do, is I am going to plot the following points on the coordinate system. And the first one I'm going to tackle is Z. I need to draw 7, negative 6. 7, negative 6 is, well, first off, 7, where x is 7 along this line, negative 6 along this line. So that intersection point is going to be right there. This is what I would call Z. All right. 18, negative 2, negative 8. So x is negative 2 along this vertical line. Y is negative 8 along that horizontal line. The intersection point is where we find our point J. Now, I am just going to move fairly quickly for H. Negative 7, negative 6. Negative 7 is the x value. Negative 6 is the y value. So what I see is this point here would be H. So moving on to my last example for this video, R. R is going to be positive 2, positive 8. Remember that the first coordinate is your x. So x, I made a mistake there. X is negative 2. Sorry, I made another mistake. Here, let me highlight R. Looking for where x is 2, y is positive 8. So here is where R should be. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And then this lesson is actually really fundamentally important as we move forward. The Cartesian plane, or the XY plane, is used nearly in every unit as you go forward in pre-calculus or applied.